whatever you have to do to stop him. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate. He's violent.
Black skin, white mask. Already know that life gets hard. And they say that we're used to the harshness. If it wasn't for the pain, I'd laugh. Truth is we knew about light before dark. Turned music to art and taught everyone to dance. And still no chance. Freedom must be too much to ask. Bleeding from the ache in my heart. Sometimes I wish it was whites in the middle like France. No, I'm not racist, just jarred. Got hate before bush, not plants. They say we should leave it all in the past, but my brother's still dying on the end, so I can't. So if my attitude stinks, don't ask, cause a hashtag won't help you understand my stance. Fuck a melody, this is real rap if you ever see. Head hot, cause the system won't let me be. Tell me how I thrive in a place that don't cherish me. And they wonder why we all need therapy. Pre the energy, yeah, just another nigga to Penelope. And they don't get it how we bottom of the barrel and still drip sauce on the world, no recipe. Weight of the world on my shoulders, all the pressures in life still tightly holding. We pour libation for all of the fallen soldiers, but the pain still goes unspoken. They want us to stay broken, never gonna fold, fuck folding. I see my people lost hope, shit, don't you know we all been chosen.
We are oppressed, we are exploited, we are downtrodden, we are denied not only civil rights but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
Forgive me if you don't understand. Sorry, I'm just misunderstood. Punished if I try to take a stand. Meanwhile, my friends dying in the hood. And you can say that we're killing ourselves, but truth is they're killing us still. How you saying black lives matter but never took a moment to help? Just a trend that you post for yourself. And yeah, it takes a toll on my health, cause I want wealth like everyone else, but it's 10 times harder for me. And they wonder why my brothers put food on a scale. Yeah, when I die I'll see heaven, that's real. Cause we already living in hell. Wish I could share all the pain I felt. Oh well, I guess I won't speak till my scars do heal. I just wanna be black with a meal. Yeah, that's for every time I had no meals. Cause my mother couldn't keep up the bills. With a handful of kids, no home, just a cell. And I don't care if conscious don't sell. Knowledge brings height to an elf. Went from sitting on thrones to a cell. Been blessed, man, it wasn't by chance we fell. Weight of the world on my shoulders, all the pressures in life still tightly holding. We pour libation for all of the fallen soldiers, but the pain still goes unspoken. They want us to stay broken, never gonna fold, fuck folding. I see my people lost hope, shit, don't you know we all been chosen.
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Yeah, this is real life. Kaa kimya skia. Real talk. We're coming from the ghetto. Kinondoni, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania mpaka UK. The world finest. Yeah, pambana kijana. Life is too hard, life is too short. Shaa kwa nangu wote ghetto. Usikate tamaa. Jua kwamba ipo siku tutatoboa. Tutatoka. Gang for life.
I am the true name, true name.
Blessed love, family. Blessed love. His time is up, family. We are here once again. How you doing, family? Blessed love, all the mods in the house. Grandma Liz, Hurricane Toya, and one or two others that I know are here. But we've got some of our main ones that are probably running a bit late. But we got enough in the room. I don't think we're going to need it. It's been very calm, hasn't it? The last few weeks, or the last few months, I'd say, in the live, but we'll get to that probably next week as to why that may or may not be. So we've got a very special person coming on tonight, people. Before I get into all of that, actually, how's everyone's week's been? Put up a 1 if it's been great, put up a 2 if it hasn't. And we will pray for you. So a sister actually messaged me during the week, and she made a suggestion, actually. Let me see if I can get it up. She made a suggestion that we should always start the live, particularly in this season, with Psalm 91. Does everyone think that's a good idea? Everyone's had a fairly good week. That's great. That's great. That's great. But does everyone think that's a good idea? In fact, whether you think it or not, it's going to happen. So I'm going to start with Psalm 91 as we prayed it last week. But I do think it's important, particularly in this season. And Sister made a good suggestion. So I said, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So here we go. Let me just get that up. I actually know it. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and thy buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, for he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet, because he hath set his love upon me. Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Selah. Amen. Hallelujah. Blessed love, his time is up, family. That is really a cleansing psalm, a cleansing prayer. And actually, each time we've done it here, which is a couple of times actually before last week, it always feels like it lifts out whatever negativity is in the place, So we've got a very special guest coming on tonight, people. You guys may well know her. She's very well known in the community. Her name's Cyrelene B. And she is the inventor of Britain's Got Reggae. So we're going to kind of get into that. She's more than the inventor of Britain's Got Reggae, actually. She's an entrepreneur. She is a very, very important sister in our community. We love her very, very much. I'm going to bring her on later. But first, I'm going to finish off, as I promised, telling you guys all that I have been told about the Michelle Cree story. So this is kind of the end of last week, this week. When they show you like all that happened last week, that's what we're going to do. We're going to recap very, very quickly, and then we're going to get on Sister Cyrelene. So as I was saying last week, Michelle Cree was a wonderful singer by all accounts. Everybody speaks well of her, to the people that I've spoken to inside her friendship, close groups of family, and also in her community, which was music, So everybody that I've spoken to, not one person has had a bad word to say about that sister. Now, she spoke to various people at the time when she put up the notification on her Facebook that Jabooks had actually raped her alongside, and I know it's very, very painful. I don't even like talking about it, to be fair, and especially because sister isn't here to even tell us her story, But her friends, her family, those close to her speak for her. And she clearly and obviously spoke to them because she would. So the story is, contrary to what we heard from Mitzi June last week, the story is that she went to Africa. Her and Mitzi June had a bit of a rough ride. I think they'd had a bit of a falling out or something prior to going to Africa. I'm not sure how long before. But that seemed to have been mended. Some people expressed surprise and shock at the fact that she even went to Africa on that shout with Mitzi June. But in any event, she gets to Africa. They're on tour, and there's a show that's supposed to be happening that night. And then what happens is that she is then put in a position where she's in a room. She appears to be drunk, but there is nobody in her circle that would agree that she was a person that would drink and get drunk anywhere, whether in public spaces or private spaces. She just didn't do that. Now, I can relate to that because I'm practically teetotal. You know, one bottle of wine lasts about 2 weeks in my house. Do you know what I mean? For myself, if I use it. So I get that. I get, like, my people would say the same. They would say, no way was Afua drunk. I've actually never been drunk in my life, people. So she does that, and she's appearing drunk, but it's obvious to the people that know her that she must have been drugged. That's what they're saying. So could it have been date rape drug? It looks as if it could have been, according to the confidants, right? She's then subjected to a horrific ordeal at the hands of that artist, Jabux, and 2 other African promoters, okay? She puts it up on Facebook. Now, whatever Mitzi June was saying about, you know, she bought them chocolates, she did this, she did that, it just shows her ignorance, like I said last week. Because if you are a sister so far away from home, right? So far away from home, all right? And you go through an ordeal like that, you don't know anybody apart from maybe the backing singer, which is Mitzi June, and whoever else was in there. You know, you don't really know anyone. You haven't got your safety mechanisms, your comfort zone around you. You are scared. I can empathize and put myself in that position and say, I would be scared. And if I was scared in that position, me, how I know I stay, I'd probably do what Michelle did. I would friend them. I would go on like it weren't nothing. You know, I would do as much as I can to show them it's okay. You know, I am not going to talk. I'm not going to go on with anything. That is what I would do. You know, so all this talk around, you know, that's nothing to say that a sister was acting in that way after such an ordeal, after a sexual assault. It sounds so archaic and Victorian, Stone Age. It shows so much ignorance and lack of empathy for the female. It's just unbelievable. I would expect that sort of nonchalance from men, but I wouldn't. You know, even if you've never been through that as a woman, as a feminine spirit, you would show some empathy to the sister in that situation. And you would also, you know, you'd also believe her or try to, you know, especially if you don't know her as a sister who acts like that. And by all accounts, that Mitzi person could have never known her as a sister that acts like that, because that's not how the sister presented, straight up. So at the end of the day, that happens. She manages to, so Mitzi's side of the story is that she left me in Africa. Well, of course she bloody left you in Africa, because actually what happened was she fled with the clothes on her back and got across the border to Senegal. And it was from there that she raised the alarm somehow to her sister in the UK, who then sent her money, and she flew straight home, and all hell broke loose from there. You know, she suffered a breakdown, and the rest is we know. So this makes perfect sense to me. It makes perfect sense to me. I wasn't there. I cannot say for sure what happened, but posthumously, the people that speak for Michelle are those that are the closest to her. You know, they have no reason to lie. I'd love to see that case reopened, to be fair, because there's a lot going on there. It's hard to prove, isn't it? We know that Rohypnol, for instance, leaves the system within 2 to 12 hours, depending on your metabolism. So by the time that person wakes up, realizes something dodgy's gone on, because you do know physically downstairs that something dodgy's gone on, it's already left their system a lot of the time. Now, depending on the dose, they can either be completely knocked out, or they can look like extreme drunkenness. Sorry, I lost myself just there. I don't know what's going on with these things. It can just be a case of extreme drunkenness. You know, the person just looks mad out of it, depending on the dose, right? So that is the account of what happened with Michelle Creese. It's absolutely tragic. It's disgusting. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, whether that person knew that that was going to happen, because there is also an allegation, as I say, it's just an allegation, that actually that person, Mitzi June, was the person who supplied the date rape drug. And it's quite intriguing, because I do think to myself, Rohypnol would cause that type of effect in my professional understanding of drugs, substances, narcotics, and so on. It would cause that sort of effect. There are other things you can use, Spanish fly. There's lots of other drugs, but what causes that kind of total, that total decapitation, if you like, of the person's mind? Rohypnol, really, that's the most effective, and to be so long lasting, you know. So let's say it's Rohypnol, and we are just, this is conjecture. We're just kind of, let's explore it. If it was Rohypnol is not widely available in Africa. And I know for a fact it ain't widely available in Jamaica. I'm not saying you can't get hold of it, but you have to really be about that type of thing to get hold of it there. Here, it is widely available. Could it be that somebody bought it from here, bought it to Africa as a whole setup for that person? I don't know. But based on what we've heard so far about that sister there, I don't know. That's all I've got to say. I really don't know. But it's so sad that based on all the testimony that we heard, and the many messages that are pouring in, the people in the comments, there's nobody actually defending the sister at all, apart from a fake account, which boring. We all know what that is, people. So it's just very intriguing for me. It's extremely intriguing. It's a story that was very, very sad when I heard it. Does it have relevance in this whole thing? Not really. It speaks, if it is true, it speaks to the fabric of the individual herself, doesn't it? And you know what? Doesn't matter how many times you escape Babylon justice. I hope these people know that there is a God in there. There's a God, and he's watching. It is watching. The universe is watching. Whichever way you want to flip it, be it spiritual or Abrahamic. Yeah? Doesn't matter. Islam, it doesn't matter. Whatever that higher power is, it is watching. Call it karma. It must come back to pass. So I don't understand why these people are just so wicked. But anyway, that being said, without further ado, let me bring on Sister Cyrelene B, and she's going to tell us about a guy called Vernon. In fact, I'll let her tell you. Blessed love, my beautiful sister. How you doing? You're live.
Hi, can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you. We can hear you loud and clear, and you look very beautiful.
Thank you. I'm trying to find where I'm lost. Where is it gone?
Can you see you? You can't see yourself?
No, I can't see nothing. 1 minute.
But you know when you sort of small your screens to see what tabs you got open, you'll probably find it there. If you've got a Samsung like me.
I've got so many. I'm on my laptop.
Ah, you're on your laptop.
That's trying to find the speaker. I've got so
many
tabs open.
Can you hear? We can hear you, and you can hear us.
I can hear you. I just can't see anything. That's all.
Ah, okay. It's a bit disorientating when you can't see yourself, or you can't see me.
Never mind. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Figure it out, sis. You'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah, because it's a bit awkward not being able to see nothing.
Yeah.
No, it's all right, Sam.
His time is up. I'll mute you for a while you're
okay.
That out, sis. Put up a big his time is up. Love heart. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say something else. Put up a big love heart for the sister, man. This sister is beautiful. And she's been through so much of a fight with bad mind people that hate her concept or just wish that it was theirs. You know, we can relate to that, guys, on here. I've got my fair share of protagonists who are exactly the bloody same. So I've got a heart for this sister. And to be honest, she first shared her story with me 4 years ago, roundabouts, wasn't it, sis? Round about 4 years ago when I first started this thing up, we connected and we've been connected ever since, haven't we, sis? What, yeah? Were you on another tab?
This is what I'm looking at. Wait 1 sec. Just leave this. Oh, what happened? I'm just shutting down all the tabs, but till I come to it, because I can't see it and I don't understand why.
It's weird. You can come out and come back in again, sis. It ain't nothing. If that's
I can find where I went in, then it might help. So
just go back to the original source and do it again.
Let me just
because then what it will do is once you hit back the link, it will just bring up where you are because you're already on it. Yeah, try that.
Okay, I get you now.
You're getting lots of love hearts and smiley
thank
faces.
you, everybody. Right.
Yes, my sister. No?
I'm just looking at Afua Rose StreamYard.
I'll turn my camera off while you're doing that.
Maybe entering the studio.
Music for the times when we're like techie and that. Do you know what I mean? But I like the kind of, there we go, you're back again.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll take you off now, and I'll bring you on here. Is that better?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
There it is. All right, so you're in two places. Let me take you off. Excellent. Yes, my sister. Blessed love.
Hi. Hi,
blessed
everyone.
Love, sis. Blessed love. So, sis, Vernon. Remind me of his full name, my sister.
Vernon Percival Taylor.
Vernon Percival Taylor. That's who we're here to talk about, guys. I'll put up a picture of him in a minute, but that's who we're here to talk about. And how do you know this man, my sister? In fact, before we even get into that, please tell the viewers who don't know what you do, and just give us a quick little bio of what you do.
Okay, I'm the founder of Britain's Got Reggae, which is a national reggae competition I'm hoping to bring back next year. I'm an author, so I'm writing about my experiences as well. And I do work in my community, so I do just lots of different creative stuff in my community to help people and raise their vibration and, just to, just help people in the community.
Brother 5-0 in the house here.
Hi. Still can't spell my name.
To this day.
Cyrelene, I got A in there somewhere.
Tell us about Britain's Got Reggae, sis. I think it's really important because there's so much that it's not just about reggae music. There's a whole lot more depth to it, isn't there, my sister?
There is. Like everything I do, there's depth to it. With Britain's Got Reggae, it came about because I noticed how the younger artists wasn't getting no opportunities. I was, who's going to continue the legacy if the younger people aren't getting the opportunities? Mm-hmm. So I provided that platform. It grew bigger than I expected. But it's not just about the reggae competition, like Afua said. It's, it's about the sexualization of music. We teach the artists how to protect their musical works. A lot of the reggae artists get ripped off. So we teach them how, when they go into a studio, what they need to do before they go in the studio, agreements, copyright, intellectual property, mechanical rights, all the above. And we sort of look out against the sexualization of music and show the importance of, the lyrics in songs when they're writing songs and stuff like that. Not even just reggae. I ran something called Cyrelene years ago. It was a multi-genre showcase, and you can be a trap artist, you can be a rap artist. It was the same rules then. Your lyrics were everything. So, if you come on there chatting a bag of rubbish, you couldn't come on my show, basically. And it's just the same rules for Britain's Got Reggae, really. But with Britain's Got Reggae, obviously it's a passion, and we need the legacy to continue in the right way. I feel like the music industry is pushing it in a certain direction, and they're sexualizing our children before their time with the lyrics in songs, and absolutely. They're killing each other with the lyrics as well, with the trap music and stuff like that. So I think word, sound and power is very powerful, and it's really important when you're pushing lyrics out to a mass of people, and they're repeating that, because whatever you repeat, you invoke. So
that's what I was going to say. It's an invocation, it's an incantation almost, especially with the speed of the music and things like that. We know they're casting spells through the music, my sister. It's such important work.
They pray over their albums before they pray over their albums or do their rituals over the albums before they push it to the masses. So you have to be mindful what your children are repeating and what they're listening to and what they're singing, because they don't know what they're bringing in on themselves. When you can see how the children are turning, we've got a different breed of youth right now, and I think the music plays a big, big part of that.
100%, my sister. So, sis, tell us your story, sis. How did you first meet this man?
Through my mum. It was my mum's partner. And I remember the very first time I met him, it was in a food shop, and he had the biggest dumplings ever. You know,
So
that's
he
how I
ran the food shop. He
I
cooked it.
think he ran the food shop, or he had a food van, or he might have had both. You know,
Sure.
so that's how my vague memories of him when I first met him, and then he sort of came and lived with us, and it's like once he got our approval, me and my brother, and you know, he got his feet under the table. It's like, say, probably going up to a year. He started, you
But
know.
sorry, just to stop you, did he live with you as a lodger, or was him and your mum involved?
Him and my mum was involved. He was my mum's partner at
So
the
he had
time.
that kind of trust in the house, yeah. All right.
Yes, a father figure. I looked at him as like a stepfather, sort of. My mum never really brought men in the house like that. So yeah, it was a bit different, and seemed like, you know, I did look at him as a stepfather sort of figure, you know. And yeah, so I can remember the very first time that it actually happened is my mum went to work. You know, it was in the evening job. She worked in the Burlington pub. If you're from Leicester on your online, my mum used to work in the Burlington, and me and my brother used to sleep in my mum's room, you know, like if he wasn't there, because he didn't stay there all the time. He had his own place.
Back in the day, right? That's what we
Yeah.
did.
So me and my brother used to sleep with my mum and watch telly till we drop sleep, and then we'll go in our rooms. So same with him. So this night my mum was at work, and I remember this night he was sick with his sinuses. He suffered with sinus problems, and he said he was sick. So he was in the double bed under the covers, and I'm in my nightie and my dressing gown on top of the covers, just watching the TV, we did.
How old were
And then
you at that time, sis?
I think it was 10 years old. And I can remember he touched my leg, and he was slowly rubbing my leg, and it's going higher and higher and higher. And he got to the top of my thigh, and I just went stiff. I didn't know what to do. I was absolutely shocked. You know, you're a child, you don't expect that. I just didn't know what to do. I just froze. But when his hand got to the top, I remember shutting my eyes tight, saying, "Please, God, help me." And as soon as I said that, the phone rang, and that was my cue to get up and run out into my room. I've always had a double bed, because my mum had a 3-bedroom, and if she got rid of a double bed, we'd get it. You know, if my brother had a big enough room, he would have had a double bed as well. So he used to end up in my bed anyway, because he was scared of the dark. But he wasn't here that weekend, and it was just me and Vernon in the house, because I had modelling or gymnastics on the Saturday. And he came, so I ran into the room when the phone rang. So he's talking to, it was my mum checking up to see if everything's all right. And so my bedroom door was sort of split, the wood, but it had, remember them old thumb locks? You put the thumb in.
Yeah, slide it across.
So yeah, so I shut my thumb lock, but I knew it was broken to lock the door. But like if you pushed it hard enough, it would sort of open. You know, it won't split the door, although it was split, but it wouldn't break the door. So I ran in the room. So when he's come off the phone, he's pushed the door open, and he's jumped on me on the bed. And I just start fighting him at this time. And I started shouting him and saying, get off me, or else I'm gonna. And that's as far as I got. And he just started shouting, or she gonna what? Or she gonna what? Girls like you end up as a prostitute. This is what the man told me. And I don't even think I knew what a prostitute was at them days. But that's what he said.
Let me just segue a minute, sis. So you're 10, 11 years old. He's been living with you guys how long before the assault, the first assault?
I'd say about a year.
So about a year.
I can't be sure, but I'd say about a year. It wasn't straight away. You know,
Sure.
it's like he got comfortable, like when, because obviously we weren't comfortable at first when there's a stranger in the house to us, you know. So, but once he felt, and you know, it seems like we felt okay with him.
Can you remember any type of grooming, any signs? Was he getting you into his confidence along the way?
Nothing I remember. It's just like sometimes, because he was an electrician, and sometimes I'd go with him. Oh, do you want to come with me? And I'd go with him on a job. Or I might even ask him if I could go with him, you know, but it was all innocent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Well, it wasn't in his mind. He would have been, that's a form of grooming, you know. Do you want to come with me at the work? The child starts to feel a bit more important, that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the very first time. And then what he did after that, it was like, you know, like children get up early. We're downstairs watching cartoon at 7 o'clock and watching TV. So I'd always be down early watching telly. and he'd come down in his blue velvet dressing gown, very much aroused, and push up himself on me. And I used to sort of fight him in silence, you know what I'm saying? Because my mum was upstairs. So I used to just sort of fight him and sort of push him off. So we used to regularly do that kind of thing. That's what it was. And then he'll try to offer me £20. £20 was a lot of money back in those days, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what he used to do to try to sort of quiet me, you know? Yeah, that's what he did most of the time. So it was very, very traumatic for me. Obviously, I didn't want to be in the house. And then, you know, when I knew I was going to be in the house alone with him, I just started running away in it. And then I got a bad name. They blame you. I wasn't running away on the street, but they thought I was. I was tucked up. Like I used to go to my stepbrother's sister's house and stay with her mum, you know. And, you know, I used to be in bed probably about 9 o'clock, you know what I mean, at their house. So it's not like
But obviously your people thought you were running away to go and party and look, man, you know what they
yeah,
were.
and look, man, yeah, but it wasn't. I just needed to. It was like my safe space. I mean, up to date, Karen, thank you so much. Karen don't even know what was going on because she thought my dad knew and thought my mum knew, and my dad's sleeping elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, she just thought it was all right, and nobody, my mum or dad, didn't know that that's where I was. But I didn't want them to know because that's my safe place. You know what I'm saying? It was like. You know, I just run there just so I could sleep and feel comfortable in a home, you know, because it's very horrible when you know, you can't even be comfortable in your own home. You know what I'm saying? You're scared to go here if he's there. You know what I mean? If he's in a particular room or if he's going to come down. I'm watching Tiswas, I'm watching cartoons, you know what I'm saying? And things like that. And, you know, I just don't think.
Well, you can tell the era that it was if you said you were watching Tiswas. And anyone put up a one if you guys remember Tiswas. But yeah, some of my abuse went on around Tiswas. It's interesting how certain programs can trigger certain memories, you know.
Yeah.
When you said Tiswas, something came to my mind about my own abuse. But yeah, that Saturday morning thing where we were often alone, first ones up, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So it was a vulnerable time.
Very vulnerable time.
The era of Tiswas, we were all vulnerable in that era, you know.
There's so many of us that's gone through. I know so many women, you know, even by speaking out this week, this amount of people, men as well, that have shared, you know, their stories. You know, it just brings out the levels. You know, it just makes me see how rife it is because some of these people, most of them I know, but a couple of the guys, you know, one I did know, and I was quite shocked, you know, and. You know, it's good to see how he just spoke about it. So,
do you feel there's a tide that's turning, sis? Because I'm getting a lot more brothers speaking out as well. I've got one coming on quite soon. That's a huge story, and I'm really encouraged by that because I feel that what we've been doing over the last 4 years in the Black community is causing brothers now to say, do you know what? The sisters can do it, so can we.
amazing.
It feels like there's a tide turning. You know, you said a lot of brothers spoke up as well. That's unprecedented, isn't it? A lot of brothers speaking up.
Well, I was looking at the statistics. It's 1 in 6 men. That's quite high. You know what I'm saying? So it happens a lot more than we thought. You know, it's, you know.
If you subset that, sis, and look at what the statistic, that's the overall statistics. That's a national statistic that you're talking about there. And when you break that down even further, it shoots up amongst Black men. You know, they disclose in prison, they disclose to therapists, they disclose there in numbers, but to actually come out in their community, you know, it's hard. It's hard for a man, and it's all the stigmas, isn't it, that's attached to being an African or a Caribbean man.
Definitely, it is a lot of stigma, but I think, you know, we're in a different time now, and I think, you know, our grandparents, great-grandparents and mothers, they would never dream to speak of things like this because it was just a different culture back then. And they'll tell you to be quiet. If you went and told them, they would have probably blamed you and told you who told you to go near him. You know what he's like, you know, they'll blame you. I've heard so many stories, and, you know, me, myself, scared to tell because I feared I wouldn't be believed. You know, what a thing, like, you know, it's just, you know, why do we feel, you know, that we wouldn't be believed? It's just really sad, you know, when we go into our loved ones about it, you know.
It was a culture, wasn't it? It was a culture whereby from church to home to school, it was the era nobody believed you. If you said it at school, they'd tell you to go away, you bad little girl, go and wash your mouth out with soap and water. You said it at home, you're a fast little girl, you're rude, go sit down. You're a liar. You know, church, you're a sinner. So how could we speak out?
And that's what people say. A lot of people say, oh, you waited so long. Why are you waiting so long? There's no time limit on when you want to speak out. You know, it is when it is. You know, there's lots of reasons, obvious reasons why people don't. We just see it watching your program. We've seen the levels of, you know, how a woman telling her story. We see the levels of people in the boxes trying to discredit her, trying to lie about her, try to vouch for the perpetrator. Oh, I've known him 20 years. When you're adult and you know this thing happens and you can't tell nobody's sexuality face to face, you know, it's what they do in the dark, what they don't want no one to know, their dirty secrets, and it happens a lot, you know. And it's about time people started speaking. We've got young children out there that are reliant and looking for people like Afua. I mean, Afua, what you're doing these 4 years, I just don't think you're scratching the surface yet. I think there's going to be a tipping point where so many people find what you're doing. And obviously you're going to be inundated anyway. But like, I think there's a whole heap of people yet to find what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And, you know, we're in pockets all over the country. We've kind of, you know, London knows for sure. Birmingham knows. There are a couple of people, just a couple of people in Manchester, Leeds, but the whole of Manchester doesn't know. Leeds doesn't know. Bristol doesn't know. Huddersfield doesn't know. Coventry doesn't know. You know, we are everywhere in our numbers. And we can even take that into the southeast. We can take that into Luton. We can take it into Reading. You know, Hitchin. These are the Windrush communities across the countries. Sometimes I think in London we're fooled into thinking that it's just London. It's not just London.
No, it's
everywhere.
It's worldwide. And I even had a lady from Guyana message me.
Yeah.
She told me a story about her sisters, whole family got abused by one man. You know, and yeah, so lots of people coming to me, people I know, some of them, with their sharing their stories, and I never knew, and they would never tell their families either.
That's right.
You know, they just couldn't deal with the hurt. They don't want to hurt the families by letting them know. So
this thing about, I mean, why didn't you speak up before? Imagine you are a 3-year-old and you are being abused by a family member, let's say. All right. You don't make sense of that. That process becomes the norm to you. It's not unusually until they get to secondary school, thereabouts, they start to realize this is actually deviant. There's something wrong with this. Because then, you know, you're going through puberty, your sexual interest is peaking in boys or whatever it is. Let's say it's a girl child, and that's what's happening for her. Yeah. She's 12, she's 13, she's starting to like other boys, she's seeing healthier relationships, and she's starting to realize that actually this thing that's going on with my uncle or my dad or whatever, that's not healthy, that's not right. Yeah. And then be that child at that adolescent stage when this has been happening since you were 3. Be the child, these naysayers in that adolescent stage. You've made sense that it's wrong, but you can't stop it. It's still happening. You have no power to stop that. So it keeps happening. Then it's starting to screw you up. Now you're starting to act out. Now you're becoming promiscuous. Now people are labeling you in the community. Oh, she's this, she's that. All of that stigma and the weight of that judgment and everything is what that woman grows with in her 20s. Everybody knows in your 20s, you're still finding yourself. You're still setting your tone for the rest of your life. And then you get into your 30s and you're starting to think, by then the weight of the shame and all the stuff that's been put in place is coming to bear. It's not until you're in your 40s, 50s, and actually the statistics say that it's on average women between 45 to 65 that start to disclose early childhood trauma or adverse childhood experiences. Some people talk, yes, of course they do. Some children talk, but that's all about different environmental factors. Did they have warm, loving homes? Was there a person in the family that they really trusted? There's all sorts of factors that go into that. People really need to educate themselves. That's what they need to do. They need to educate themselves. Let me kick you off, sis. You've come on again. They need to educate themselves. It's fine. Don't worry. There we go. They need to educate themselves and stop being so pig ignorant. I just call it a Negroid mentality, to be fair. We're not in the days of slavery anymore. We haven't been chastised in that way, although we are chastised. The knowledge is there for everybody to seek. Just elevate your mind and vibrate higher and seek that knowledge and stop chatting fart. That's what I say. It's really jarring. But sis, take us back to the story.
Yeah. So
here's who we're talking about. This nasty piece of work here. Vernon Percival Taylor. Now, this is him as he looked then. We don't know what he looks like now, do we? We haven't got a picture of him now.
No, it probably looks kind of similar, just a bit older. I did see him. I don't know if it's pre-COVID or just after COVID. When we went to Leeds Carnival, he introduced my mum to a guy in Leeds, elder, who all of us, not just us, people from all different cities, we used to go, when we left, we'll catch the coach to Leeds or drive to Leeds, but we'll go around to Horace's house. He'll have food there, he'll have drink there. And people from different cities used to do the same. All of us would meet up at his house, eat. If you want to go to the toilet, I'd go there. I've even stayed there when I've not gone back on the coach. And this year, over all these years going, I've never seen Vernon there. So this year, my mum's gone, because you park up and you go through the back gate, through the kitchen to the living room. And my mum's gone ahead of me and I'm in the car. So I'm just behind her. So she's in the living room and I'm just coming through the gate. I've walked into the kitchen and I said something, Horace, like that. And I've just seen, someone just flew past me. And I thought, was that Vernon? You know what I mean? Because I just got a glimpse of how they flew out the room. And it was him. It was Vernon. And he was upset how the man had allowed my mum in the house. And the man just cussed him and told him, Silma hasn't done me nothing. You know, my mum hadn't done him nothing. You know, Silma's been coming here for years. You know.
So he cussed the host?
Yes. Because my mum's in the house. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not even a laughing matter.
I said he's running, and I told the host what he was. I told the host, I said he's a paedophile. He used to try to trouble me when I was a kid. So I told him at that time as well, when he was upset because he had the cheek to tell him that my mum, why me and my mum was there, and so I let him know what he did as well.
Good for you.
Yeah. So yeah.
So we're at the point.
It continually happened. I started running away more and being more rude because I was getting sort of stopped from doing my gymnastics. Because what I noticed, right, I stopped speaking to him because I realized when I stopped speaking to him, he wouldn't try to trouble me. So I wouldn't even say good morning. So my mum was sort of chastising me because I wouldn't even say morning, night, nothing. So it's like I got no manners, but that's just how strongly I felt about it. I weren't talking to you. So, I got stopped from doing all my activities because I wouldn't speak to this man. And, I'm a Taurus, so I would not speak to him because that was protecting myself from being abused. So Absolutely. It got to the stage, I was going to school and yeah, I was going to school and stuff, and the teachers were on strike a lot, so going backward and forward to school. Sometimes you go for a lesson and they'll send you home for the lesson, and you go back to the lesson. So this morning I've gone to school and said you're off in the afternoon. So I've gone home. My mum wasn't in, and at them days I was so skinny I could put my arm through the letterbox and let myself in. So I've gone in, and my mum was not there. So I've gone into the pool, gone to play pool in town at 147. So as I'm walking down 147, it's an arcade as well, and it's got a pool place there. And I'm walking down, and I've gone into the place. Next minute, Sonny said, "There's your mum." My mum's walking down the road with 2 police for me, and I felt so embarrassed because she thinks I'm skipping school. So anyway, I was so embarrassed. I thought, I'm not going home. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, I'm not even going home. After, you know what I mean? The teachers were on strike. I wasn't skiving, but I just felt embarrassed that she called police on me. So when it got quite late now, it's like 11 o'clock. I thought, oh, my mum's going to be worried, and I wanted to go home anyway. So I've gone home, but I was scared to knock on the door because his van was outside, Vernon's van. So it went to like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning now. My neighbour was coming in from work. So I said, can you knock on the door and just tell my mum that you found me on the step? Because my mum won't go and sleep. I looked through the window, she was by the phone. And I think she'd probably call the police. You know, she had the phone sat there waiting for us. So eventually I got in the house and my mum says to me, I explained to her, I showed her the letter, was on strike. You know what I mean? So I told her because of the police. She said, go bed. And she told me, don't bother, get up for school. So in the morning, I heard Vernon get up. She's here. Tell her to get up and go to school. So anyway, I got up. I went into the bathroom, brushed my teeth, went back in my bedroom. When I went in my bathroom, my guy, what it was, I was downstairs. They sent me shop to get milk for my brother. So I went shop and got milk. And my mum told me not to go to school, but he was telling me I had to go to school. So what he did, he went into the back garden. He's an electrician and he used to have reels of wire in the back toilet, the outside toilet. So we went outside in the outside toilet and he had got 3 strips of this wire and he's whipping me with this wire all over my body. But while he's whipping me, he's ripping off my pants and trying to shove his fingers up me. So that's what he did. My body was on fire. If you've been whipped about your body with wire before, you'll know. I went to school with pure wales on my body, whale marks. And from that day, I just didn't go back home again because social services got involved and I went into care. So by the age of 12, I'd left home because of this man. Yeah.
So he beat you with the wire, sis?
With wires, 3 wires. He went into the back outside toilet. He had 3 rolls of wire. And he cut it and he whipped me with the wires. But obviously, he must have been getting aroused while he's ripping off my pants and trying to shove his fingers up me.
Which is in the law called digital rape. Using the bits of the. Yeah, it's called, that's the proper term for it. For people that don't know, it's called digital rape, meaning the digits of the hand.
Okay.
You know, when the baby's born, they count the digits. That's what it is, your digits. I'm sorry, I was about to swear. I was about to say effing disgusting.
Yeah, so from that day, I didn't go back home. You know, I did end up in care, foster care, but then I just couldn't live.
So tell us how you actually ended up in care, because you ran
away. From that day, I went to school. I was full of whale marks on my body, and my dance teacher saw me because I'm very dark now, but I'm very fair. You know, I'm saying fair skinned, and so you could just see the red whale marks all with my little ankle socks and my school skirt. When I've gone into school, my dance teacher saw me, and she said, "What's wrong?" I'm crying because I felt like my body was on fire. You know, when you get whipped with wire, you're just hot. You know what I'm saying? Some hot licks, you know. So
12-year-olds.
Yeah, so I didn't go back home after that day. You know, I stayed with family for a bit, stayed with friends. Then I ended up in care. Then I was fostered. And then I didn't even stay in foster care. For 2 years it went like that. And then I realised I could get my own place. I didn't want to live. The foster people they put me with a white family. The kids were calling me black this, black that. You know what I mean? So nothing was going to work with me from time that's happening because I don't want to stay in your house. So I would just get up, go out and come back when it's time to sleep. And they didn't like that. I'm not saying because if the kids are so young and they're calling me that, I know it's the parents, you know, is the responsibility because there was very young children. You know, so yeah, I just knew I couldn't live with another family. The culture was just too different. The children's home was just different, glue sniffing, all these things I've never seen before, you know. So yeah, and it just, you know, I lived on my own from 15 years old.
So you were kind of on the roads.
Yeah.
And so how did that play out from the age of 12 through
12,
to...
like I said, I went into I always stayed at my grandma's for a bit. I stayed at one of my friends' elders for a bit. I went into a couple of children's homes. I went into a hostel at 14. I should have been going to school. I had my little job as a bar tacker. bring in money, because I know I was going to get my flat soon. So I wanted to save up money to buy things for my flat. And I was in my place at 15 years old. So from 15, I've been living on my own, you know, yeah, as a child, from a child.
And what was the impact on mum? And at the time when you were taken by social services, was it just physical abuse they were looking at? Did they know about everything?
No, I kept it. I think I did tell somebody, because I can remember at the time when I was in between home and stuff, I just didn't want to go back home. I weren't going back home with him in the house. So that wasn't an option for me. So my grandmother, I was staying with my grandmother for a bit, and I don't know, someone must have told my grandmother, and my grandmother called my mum and him to her house, and the conversation came up, and all of them were just screaming and shouting, and he was standing over me. I'm sat in the little settee, and he's standing over me screaming at me, "Did I trouble you? Did I trouble you?" Obviously, I just said no, because, you know, I was just too scared as a child, and the adults were all screaming and shouting, and yeah, I just said no. Since that, a couple of years ago, I got my notes from social services, and, you know, when I first got them, I opened it just like that, and what I looked at, I just shut it. You know, it just upset me so much. And so it took another year, that's like probably this year, where I've read the files from back to front. And you can see how involved he is. And I think there's a book in there to see from the eyes of a paedophile, because you can see how involved is involved too much with everything. And he's not my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wanted all the say. Like, he was taking control of everything, you know. And but I could read in there, my grandma had his number. You know what I'm saying? My grandma, you know, like, she knew, you know. So I've got to read it again, and there's definitely a book in there, because he was just having too much say, like he was trying to cover up, but towards the end it seems like it was coming to apparent, and then he's sort of quieted down a bit in it all.
And were you the only child in the house at the time?
My brother.
You had a
My
brother.
brother. When I left home, it's not long after my brother left afterwards. I think my brother ended up beating him up. He tried to manhandle my brother. My brother was only 15. I think my brother thumped him up. And then he left.
Your brother was older than you?
No, younger than me.
He was younger.
Yeah, so not long after I left, it's like Vernon started on my brother. I don't know if it's something to do about shovel up the snow or something. I don't know if it manhandled him, tried to manhandle my little brother, but my brother didn't have it and just punched him up. So yeah.
And so after that, because, you know, this was in Leicester, wasn't it, that this happened?
Yeah.
So after that, he's floating around Leicester. It's a small town.
It is a small town. I can remember, I think me and my mum, we sort of fell out at one time. And I heard that she found him with a woman in her house. So one of my friends was in the Burlington pub, and this girl, who Vernon was apparently seeing, was troubling my mum. So my friend rang me up and told me, "Cyrelene, this girl's troubling your mum." I said, "Is it?" So even though I weren't talking to my mum, I was, you know, she can't talk to my mum or trouble my mum. So I happened to see her a couple of days later. So I warned her, and I said to her, "When you see my mum, don't look at her, don't say nothing to my mum." And I says to her, because she had about 6 children, and I says to her, "You see that man you're with?" I said, "Mind him with your girl children." You know what she says? "Why did he molest you?" And started laughing in my face. So that day we both got arrested, because when she said that to me, I just saw red. I'm trying to tell you to protect your children, and you're making fun of it, laughing in my face. You know, obviously I'm telling you it's something serious. You know, you should want to collect the kids. And I think that woman went on to have a couple of kids with him. So, you know, I don't know how protected them children are. Or is he just one of them men that go with women with young children so he can do what he's doing? You know, because that's what, you know, we know that happens. A man will get with a woman for the children, you know.
Oh, absolutely. They'll target single mothers, paedophiles. Absolutely, they will. Especially vulnerable single mothers, you know, where they can see there's no protective factors around them. There's no male figures.
Yes.
That's one of their games, you know.
That's what it is. So I know he had children with her, and I think maybe somebody else in Leicester, but like he's not just in Leicester, he's in Birmingham. Someone told me he was in Leeds this week. Since putting out these things, I've heard he's been in St. Kitts. He's had contracts in St. Kitts
Is
because
he
he's gone.
Kittian? He's
Yeah,
Kittian. Okay.
yeah. So someone, this is all this week. I've just got loads of different messages. You know, someone said he was at Leeds Carnival, which I believe because I've seen him at the day of Carnival when I saw him at that house. And then someone said he lived in Leeds, so I don't know. But then I heard he had contracts in St. Kitts. So I sent it to some petition. So I promoted it myself and I've sent it everywhere. So, you know, yeah, I've always had collaboration with a lady. At the beginning of the year, I had an interview from my book because I've done an introductory chapter writing about my stories, and so the book was 80% off. So I've done a little clip of my interview. Said, ladies, 80% off, go and get it. So a few days later, a lady's contacted me in my inbox on Facebook and says to me, I remember you as a vibrant 2-year-old running around Hamilton Street. And that's where I know my grandparents lived when I was young, a baby. So she says, and I think I know the electrician that you're talking about in your book. She said, oh, thanks for sharing your story. And she says, I think I know the electrician that you're talking about in the book. I said, oh, no, he's from Birmingham. Because his name begins with V. I went, oh, my gosh, it is.
Wow.
She told me when she was 14 years old on Hamilton Street, he came down the alley with his thing out, you know, exposing himself. And she said she ran for her life, you know. So I've had collaboration about his character already, you know, and I know there's other people out there.
We need to gather that up and bang him up. That's what we need to do, sis.
Yeah, so this is why we do it this way. And this is why I'm showing my face as well today. I just need like survivors out there. Like we've got nothing to be ashamed of what we've done. You know, it's not like the 1980s or the 1950s with our great grandmothers where, you know, we can't really speak. It's 2024. We need to just stand in our truth and speak about what's happened to us boldly, you know, without, you know, showing our faces. I mean, have you seen there's not many trolls in there? Is there many trolls in there? So
there's one, but we'll get to them later.
I've had it on private chat for all this time, so I'm just seeing the comments. I can't really read them.
There's no one trolling you, sis, not at all.
Okay, but like, yeah, so, you know, I think that's part of it as well. I think we should just boldly show our faces. I know it's not easy to do this. You know, it ain't easy to come on here. I thought I had all mixed feelings before coming on here. Nerves, excitement. You know, but it's a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, and afterwards, this I'm pretty sure you're going to bear witness, like every other woman that comes on, no matter how nervous they are. When we do that post-live call, straight after the live, they're like, "Oh my God, I feel so weightless. I feel so lifted." Every person says the same thing. No one says that was horrible, you know.
And this is what we need to know: speaking out your truth, you know, even if it's writing in a book, you know, you don't have to say the people's name or anything, just speaking your truth. There is such a healing, a weightlifting that comes from that. You know, I don't know about other people, but I've had problems with my throat, and it's like the devil's trying to stop me from speaking my truth. You know, I have a lot of problems with my throat where sometimes I can't, and I think it's a spiritual thing. And it's every time when I'm trying to get my story out there, or if I was going to go to the police station to report it, I'd get a problem with my throat. It's like proper spiritual attack. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really
it's psychological and spiritual. The two for me are indivisible, to be fair. But yeah, you know, Western medicine would say that that's a psychological block because of your experiences. I say that's spiritual too, my sister. I believe that. And I believe the two are two halves of one coin. That's how we understand it in African holistic health in any event, you know. But we could go on about throat chakras and all sorts of stuff tonight. But I want to talk a little bit about what, you know, your survivor journey, you know, your survivor journey. So you've gone through that. You've come out the other end of the care system. How did you pull yourself up by the bootstraps, sister? Because I know that you were exposed to the roads. I know that, you know, as any child would be in your situation at that time, you just had to survive. So you get through that. What was the kind of either rock bottom or the tipping point? What turned it around? Yeah.
Listen, the turnaround was when I was like 40 years old. It took me so long.
Yeah.
And there's other traumas, there's other stuff that happens, you have all the challenges, racism, there's all these different things that you're going through at that time that I went through. So it's like one thing after another. And with me, you just had to rise above it all. And, I'm just a fighter. And, I think the Most High's been holding my hand all those years. I've been very, very lucky.
And blessed. And sis, clearly you had skill sets, because I look back on my own journey and I think, well, how did I survive certain things? But I know that my writing and my performing and certain creative outlets, I've mentioned it a few times on here, but there's a great book called The Drama of the Gifted Child that deals with all of that, breaks that all down, at how trauma can either kind of produce a talent, or the talent is already there and it becomes heightened. It becomes this protective thing that makes it so special when you hear it expressed. Do you know what I mean? It comes from such a deep place. And clearly you had talents, and that's what caused you to survive. Those are some of the factors. And also you had a loving mum, didn't you?
That
I think is fundamental.
Even though we had our ups and downs and stuff, she's always been there, and she's not had it easy herself,
Bless her.
How it is.
I've actually met your mum. She's a lovely, lovely lady. I met her at the Black Awards in 22.
Yeah.
Lovely lady. You all right?
My auntie just.
Oh, I thought it was on your own. I was thinking, what kind of dumpy coming?
Oh, did you hear that? What the noise she made? Did you hear
it? And the fact that you are able, sis, to keep smiling, just describe to us. So it came up.
Another thing, the smiling. I'll smile through the pain. It's like, when you get abused, it's like you pretend everything's okay, and you're just smiling, like, that's. So I hide a lot behind my smile, and sometimes the bigger the smile is, like, the more hurt I am at that time.
I can relate to that.
It's my mad sounding thing, but if anyone asks me if I'm all right, if I'm not, I'm always all right. I'm all right.
But that's the glass half full mentality, my sister. That's what comes out of that.
But like, say you're all right, but like, what's the point in telling them whatever? Because they're can't help me right now. So what's the point in having the conversation? You can't help me. So I'm all right. And
So you have this epiphany at 40. What does that look like at that time?
That was like, it's like I turned 40. It was my birthday, and I'm sat on the bed and I thought, I'm 40. I can't believe I'm 40. And I'm thinking the depression, I've had years of depression. I've tried to commit suicide 3 times. The last time I did it, I shouldn't have been here. I should not have been here. I passed out for about 4 days, woke up in a different house with a family looking over me. You know what I'm saying? And from that day, I said I'd never do it again. I apologized to them. I wouldn't do it because I know I was here for a reason. And I really believe, because it's not just Vernon, there's lots of other things that's happened as well, So, I don't believe I've been through all that to remain silent.
Absolutely.
And I've had this urge, and it just won't go away, right? So that's why I'm here today and doing it like I am, boldly and bravely, because I feel this is why I've gone through all that. I think he's chosen me to do this, and I just need to fulfill it and do what I'm supposed to do, so and
that kind of takes me up to where I'm going. So you've been through that healing journey. You are more than a survivor. You are a thriver. And now you've got to that point where you need to express this trauma, this truth. That's kind of what brought us together as well. In that regard. And you're about to launch something really exciting. Sis, tell us all about it. I'm mad excited.
Can I just talk?
What?
Can I
You
go
need
back
to
a bit?
fear the Lord.
Yeah,
So,
let me go back a bit. Like I didn't finish school, like I explained. I left like 14. I should have been at school. I'm doing work and whatever. I didn't do my exams. I didn't do very well because like I went into care. It was so embarrassing. They was trying to take me to school. I didn't want to be seen with the kids in the children's home. I didn't want to go on the trips with them. So horse riding, you lot go horse riding, give me the money. I don't want to come out horse riding because I didn't want to be seen with them. I was just astounded that it's just a big different life and a big shock to my system, you know, to my culture, to this complete strange culture, the food, the clothes, the smell in the place. That it was just a complete shock to my system. And I knew from a young age I could look after myself as well. I think I was very forward for my age, and I always went around with elders that could teach me and learn. So I was just thirsty for knowledge. So the people talk about conspiracy theories from COVID. I've been like that from the 80s, you know, cassette days, you know. So where was I at? I've lost my train of thought now. I've gone off track.
You were in the children's home. You were
So
rejected.
I didn't finish school or anything, but like from a young age, my friend said to me, Cyrelene, you need to write about your experiences because I've been through some experiences and I've always knew I was going to write this book. I turned 50 now and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. I said, people are dying around me, whatever. So I need to write this book. So I've done the introductory chapter. The last, his time is up March. I attended. I was so inspired by the women on the stages, you know, they touched my heart. I took a couple of videos of them, and like a few days later after the event, I put a couple of videos up on my socials. And as I was putting them up, these words were coming into my head. Like, and for the next 2 months, it was like I was waking up at like 3, 4 in the morning, writing these poems till my colleague, that's we're part of a book publishing company, a black publishing company, and I'm sending them to him. What do you think of this? And he's calling me a fraud because he said, I've been working with you all this long. Where's all this coming from? Where's it all? I was quite shocked. I'm still quite shocked, like, because like some of the words, I've come up with the words and I write it. I think, is that even a word? And I'll Google it and it's not even the right word. It's in the right context. It's like it was proper
download, sis.
Spiritual. It was definitely spiritual. And I've written these poems and I've not really been reading them out, or I've written them and some of them I've not even read back over them. So now I'm sort of doing that, and I want to do the poem book, but I'm working on the audio now. I was asked, you can do the audio. I said, nah. I said, that's going to be too difficult. I can't do the audio in the poems because it's all real life stuff. Everything I write is real, what I've been through. So it's not just making the words rhyme. It's real, truthful stuff. And it's all kinds of different experiences. So,
what's the name of your book, sis?
The introductory
chapter is
Trials and Tribulations. It's a collaboration with another 6 Black authors. But right now I'm working on Trial and Revelation. So I'm going to tell you, it's a poem book, which I didn't plan to do, as I'm just explaining now. I was inspired by His Time Is Up women on the stage, and I'm nearly finished it. But I'd love to read one now, which I've memorized.
You want to do it now, or can we do it?
I don't mind. I'll do it now.
Let's do it now
as it flows. And this is going out to His Time Is Up campaign and all the women, Afua, and all the women that have told their stories, and all you women and men that are going to tell your stories. So it's going to call brave women. It's called Brave Women, but I'm going to say brave people because it's not just women, it's men as well. So anyway, brave woman. This morning I said a prayer for you all that did, that others would never dare. Standing there talking about your pain and despair, expressing the feelings that you've endured for many a year. We all know this is going on, but the silence is deafening and the pain still lingers on. No interest or protection from our brothers that should be here with us standing strong. The many triggers that pop up daily reminds us of what's been taken, our flowers that were so pure. So you tell me, how are we going to forget something that's in our faces, always knocking at the door? The fear, the shame, the guilt, and the what ifs that run through our minds when really we're seeking that closure, hoping that one day we will find. We all act as though we're all alone, going through the motions of life like we're a million in one, when we need to pull together to get that full picture of that one woman's son. 1 in 3 of us go through this sexual violence, reported in 2013, which is far worse today, according to the reality of the data, it seems. Being silent and pushing that abuse to the back of our minds is enabling these women and men to continue with their horrendous crimes. Sisters pulling together, supporting and speaking our truth will bring hope, a voice and no fear for speaking out for our up and coming youth.
Yes, my sister. That's absolutely superb. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And that's your truth.
Yeah.
That's
we
the
should
do a collab one
well,
day.
it's about the inspiring, you know, how I was inspired by the ladies speaking about their truth. And, you know, there's lots of women, they've got different campaigns going on, you know, with women standing up. So I was just inspired by seeing all the women at the campaign speaking. And that's how it was a download that came to me. That was the very first one. That was the very first one, yeah.
I can't wait to read the book when it's completed.
Yeah, it's very ready soon to come as well. So
I know you're at it, sis. I know you're at it.
Yeah, I could have done it a long time, but I'm doing.
So where can people get the other book, the collaboration book? Is it on Amazon?
Yes, it's on all different ones. Let me hopefully I can find you back.
I should have sent something. I could have put it up. You can send it to me now, actually. Send me a screenshot of something and I can put it on the screen.
Okay. It's a collaboration, so it's not just. Should I put the link in or?
It does. Well, yeah, they could copy and paste it actually. If you put it in the chat, I think.
Can find the thing back.
I don't know if when you put it in, if it could be copied and pasted though.
Not chat, connect to comments.
If you get onto Amazon, wherever it's selling, or wherever it is, with that link, get onto it and just screenshot it and send it to me, and I can put it up as an image.
How do I send it to? I'm on my laptop, sis. I'm on my laptop.
Do it on your phone. Send it on WhatsApp.
I'm not on WhatsApp on my laptop. Wait.
No, on your phone. You can do it on your phone now.
1 minute.
Don't worry, we'll figure it out, sis, and we can deal with it at the end if necessary. Yeah.
It's telling me about StreamYard. Anyway, yeah.
You don't want to lose it again.
No, I know where to find it now. So you know, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've been really.
So that's an amazing journey.
Yeah.
But you're also going to be launching.
Yes. On Monday, this Monday, I've been doing training to run courses, and obviously I want to do it on this subject. And sort of the first thing I'm looking at is the 3 steps of overcoming your fear of speaking out. So some people find it really hard to speak out. There's various different ways. I want to collaborate with survivors, you know, probably on a book, you know, that, you know, we do a chapter each. You know, there's lots of different things. I want to do a bit of healing as well. So on Monday, I'll be delivering this session at 7:00 on Zoom. It's a free event. And I'd love for, you know, some of you that really want to speak out. It's for people, men and women over 40, that are ready to speak out. I don't want to be arising traumas in people that are not ready to speak out, and, you know, they're going to start experiencing different things. So it's really people that are ready to speak out.
And show their face as you have.
Yeah, and show the face. I've been starting my podcast, you know, as well. I'm also talking about the exploitation of women in music as well, because that's another thing that we have to go through as well. Is that if I'm not even an artist, but I've experienced some things, so I can imagine what it's like for artists in studios alone. And, you know, I've done an interview yesterday, so I think I'll probably start putting them out. And after October, you know, I want to get a few interviews done first. So yeah, so I want to just create a bit of a movement to complement what you're doing. I mean, I won't be encouraging people to speak out, because I could never do what you do. For bluntly, I can't.
Well, we've opened a referral gateway, and that's the way it's done. You know, we've
Yeah.
got a referral gateway. So whatever
Yeah.
fits your criteria, sis, I will be sending to you, and
Yeah,
vice
and
versa. And that just
definitely.
grows it, people. That
Yeah.
just grows it.
Yeah.
We're only one person, two people, whatever. We're we're isolated in those efforts, aren't we? And the
Yeah.
more the merrier, as far as
We
I'm
need,
concerned.
we need more women to.
Especially pure-hearted sisters like yourself. I will fully
Oh,
endorse
thank
that.
you. Thank
A
you.
referral gateway, that's what we've opened.
Yeah. So I want to bring a different approach and, get the message out there via podcast. So if any of you would like an interview on a podcast, or if you want to come on Monday, I can tell you more information.
There's your socials. What's the where do people look for the Zoom? Where can they find it?
It's the Eventbrite. You sign up through Eventbrite. So if someone can Google the three steps of overcoming your fear of speaking out. I've sent it to so many. I've sent it in your WhatsApp.
Have you?
Let me send it in your WhatsApp.
You know what I'm like.
I've sent you everything in there, I think.
Send it again, sis, because I do want to put it up.
Turn down I can hear myself back off my aunties in the other
room. I was going
to
say, yeah, she's got to turn it down.
When I was doing the poem, it was off-putting me because I could hear myself feeding back.
Thank you for that, Herman Irish. Up the likes, everyone. Over 500 online at present. Only 79 likes. We've got to remind people to like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Send it again.
Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, so it's on Eventbrite. It's free. 7 o'clock on Monday. Let me see if I send it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I sent you this one. Here it is, Afua. The link's at the bottom of that. I've sent to you via WhatsApp.
So how old is Vernon now, sis?
I think he was probably around the same age as my mum. My mum's 70.
He's still a relatively young man.
He can be a bit older. 70, at least 70, probably a bit older. Or coming up to, I don't know, I think he's around the same age as my mum.
It's not come through. Not come through. Don't know why.
I don't know why as well.
So somebody in the chat is saying your mum needed to be more alert and supportive. What would you say to that, sis?
You can say that, but how many mothers miss that? How, when you've got you don't expect a man to do that to your child, someone you trust and love, or, you don't expect that.
And the difference is once she knew, she was supportive. It's not like she called you a liar or anything like that. Exactly. How many women do know? You trust a man. You trust your own husband. Fathers do it to their own daughters.
Exactly.
No, we only go after the mothers that know, condone, deny. That wasn't the case with your mother.
I didn't tell my mother, and you can say that, because I do think when a child starts misbehaving, some people think, oh, it's a bad child. You have to look into why the behaviors are coming all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Why is this good child all of a sudden she don't want, there were signs there, but
But our parents in
hindsight, you can say why this, what if, like in that poem, if what if, loads of children get abused and molested. It all happens. The majority is in the home by a family member, by people we trust. So you can't blame the mothers. It's the abusers, isn't it? So.
Honesty says, I'm a mum with a daughter and I would never bring a man in my home. No, neither would I. But you have to look at the time frame we're talking about. We're talking about that Windrush generation. Your mum would have been kind of the younger end of that, but it was still Windrush people. And also what I will say is that if the dad left the home, it was absolutely normal for the woman to want to remarry or have another man in the home as a father figure. That was normal. in those days. It was expected, wasn't it? You'd have guys that would come around and say, you know, look, pan them youth, them need a father. And he'd marry the woman straight off the bat because the youth them need a father. If only we had men like that now. Unfortunately, many of those men were untrustworthy and probably had their designs on that woman and her children. Do you know what I mean? But a woman was, you know, she couldn't even have her own bank account without a man or a husband up until the 1970s. So a lot of women didn't have that choice. Do you know what I mean? Especially if they wanted better. Because you would, as they say, batter if you didn't have a man in the house, right? You'd be unprotected, especially in areas like Leicester where there's like racist attacks and stuff. You needed a man in the yard. So I get that. Why the dynamic was like that in those days. It's not like that now. So honesty, you speak of now. You're not speaking of then. We know we've learned from those mistakes. We've seen what our mothers went through or didn't go through, or, you know, or had to endure or didn't understand. We've seen that. And now we do different. No, we wouldn't let the man in the house. Not just so. Man has to jump like a million hoops before he can get close and become the daddy figure, you know?
Definitely.
And so, sis, you still see him around, and he's just, does he have children of his own?
I just saw him in Leeds that time, and then another time I saw him. I went to a dance in Leicester, probably about 15 years ago now, and a coach must have come from Birmingham. So I'm walking out of the dance, the foyer, and there's loads of people walking towards me, and I see him smiling. Come, are you smiling at you, pedo? And he just looked and scuttled off, you know. So yeah,
and he's got children of his own, right?
Yeah, well, I think well, when I was young, I used to see a picture of a boy and a girl on my mum's dressing table, and I noticed he'd never seen them kids. I never used to see them, so I used to look at the little girl. I think, I bet he does to you what he does to me. I used to always look at that picture and think, did he used to trouble you like he did me? I used to always look at that little girl and look in her face to see if I could see any signs. So, but I heard he had a couple of kids with this woman. I couldn't tell you. He's probably got a bag of children all over the place. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, Honesty. Honesty says she stayed like that from morning. I get that. Like I don't know how old you are, Honesty. I've been like that from morning as well. But it's still what we are talking about. Cyrene's mum, and she's from that time. That's the point I'm making, my sister. I don't know if you're 70 something or 80 something. If you were like that from morning, then good on you. If you're from that Windrush generation, but I'm kind of assuming you're not. Yeah. And so, sis, you've got all these initiatives going. Your healing is definitely established.
Yes, I mean, I'd say like for that, it's like how you start your day is very, very important, because I've got complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So they say I try not to take on their labels. You know, it's the impact what all these different things have on you during your life. You know what I'm saying? And I struggle like certain things. I just don't watch telly because I used to get triggered all the time on the toilet. So I've not watched TV for about 25 years in my house. You know, I, you know, have depression where I don't want to come out the house and struggle a lot of the days. So, you know, a lot of people don't see that. All they see with me is a smile. They won't see that other part of me, you know, and people just think you never know what a person's going through, you know, because you can't see what's on the surface. I'll always put my best foot forward. You will never know if there's something wrong because I'll smile and be just normal, you know, because that's how it's just been and how I've coped with everything. But meditation, prayer,
very important.
You know, even if you get up in the morning and put on music and dance, just rise your vibration in the morning, start your day right, you know, because all those things have really helped me. Exercise in the morning, you know, just, you know, free up yourself in the morning. And, you know, I think how you start your day is definitely important to how your day pans out, you know.
We've got to be just so much more mindful as thrivers, you know, because some people feel that you go through therapy, and it isn't always formal therapy that people go through. Sometimes it's, you know, they're able to shed and heal in other ways. Not everybody does therapy at the end of the day, but once you get to that other end of things, you think, yeah, I'm coping, you know, I've got a stable job, I've got lovely kids, I've got a nice person with me, my house, whatever, you know. But people don't understand there's still a load, whether that is, as you described, depression or low mood or perhaps mood swings or a propensity to anger. There's stuff that you have to manage on a daily basis, yeah, and keep managing that. Even when you've healed from all of those so-called symptoms, when you've shedded everything, you know, when you're completely free of it, you've still got to be mindful. Why is it that I get irritated by that particular cartoon? Or why is it digging deeper, you know, that real shadow work? You've got to be constantly mindful. It's a bit like an alcoholic. Will always be an alcoholic, you know?
Yeah. I don't think you ever get over what you go through. You just learn to live with it. You know, I don't think we ever get over it. I've had lots of therapy, but it just didn't help me. You know what I'm saying? It was just them ones where you just sit down and they nod at you at 2 o'clock on the Tuesday. They'll nod at you like to say just chat. I'm just looking at it like that. Let's look out the window, like just nodding on me, you know. And then they got you for 45 minutes, and they bring up everything, and then you're going home really upset, you know, because they've brought everything up. And
that's because many of them are not skilled in the principle of therapy. Once you open those boxes. And actually, it's not supposed to be so direct where they're just putting that at you. It's a collaborative work. You open boxes. And that's the way I used to work when I was doing one-to-one. You open those boxes. I hand you tools. I give you a big mirror reflection. And I guide you into opening those boxes, right? So once, they call it the 50-minute hour. Once that we're getting up to, it's usually the 50-minute hour because it's 50 minutes of session. Write your notes. So once you're getting up to about the 40, with me anyway, everybody practices different. You start to put things in to close that person back down again and put them in a different place before they do. But there's too many of them. And this is the reason why I just effed off out of it, like I did with the profession before that. It's just not working. And it's actually making people worse because they're going home traumatized, acting out in their spaces. Do you understand what I'm saying? I still operate, but I don't do that one-to-one stuff anymore, unless I can do it my way.
I think it was a type of techniques that they gave you. I think the only people, one lady, she was from ICOPE, and she was the poshest lady. Her name was Satara. I'll never forget her. She was such a lovely, and she was so posh. But she got on her knees, got out her whiteboard, and started doing vision. I thought, yes, that's more like it. That's the kind of
that's it.
I need. She's the first one to introduce me to mindfulness. You know, she had me sitting there in the session for 10 minutes, observing all the noises around me, the birds, the traffic. You know what I mean? And gave me some guided meditation. And that's when I started. That was about 20 odd years ago. You know. So she was actually amazing, and you know, and the only one I felt like sort of, you know, I was getting somewhere. I think they just kept on sending me to the same type of where they just talk to you, like sit there. I might as well sit there and talk to the wall, you know.
You know what? So many therapists are just chained to the course.
Yeah,
they're chained. They've got no expression for themselves, you know.
And then they say people shouldn't talk, but they're not showing no facial expression or acknowledging or anything. I just think it's a waste of my time, and you're just arising everything up at times because when you want the counselling, you're at your worst place. But by the time it comes 2 years later, you know what I mean? You don't even want to bring up them subjects again because you're probably in a better place then. You know, you have to wait so long for the therapy, you know.
But private therapy is so expensive. You know, I used to, back then even used to charge £80 an hour. But it's so expensive. If you can't afford that, which most people can't, you know, on an average wage, you have to wait unbelievable amounts of time for statutory help. It's disgusting. It's even worse when it comes to young people and CAMS and stuff like that. It's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. And that's why I feel that we had it once before. I've spoken about it before, and I was an alumni of that. But we need a black therapy course in this country. It doesn't exist at the moment. You know, we have to go to America for that. We had it once in the early 2000s, you know, and it ran for about 3 years or so at, I think, Goldsmiths. Yeah. It doesn't exist anymore. They shut it after a while. And do you know why? There was not enough uptake. Can you imagine? So we've got all these black therapists that want to be therapists. We finally get a black therapy course in a major university, and people are still signing up for the other course. What is that about? And when it comes on to African psychology, we do need our own psychologists and psychotherapists. We do. that is trained in African holistic psychology, you know? You guys? Oh, I think I might have got your thing now. All right.
I think my phone's full. Have you got it now?
No, I haven't. No.
Has anybody got it? I've sent it to any of Nadine, Amy, you in the chat. If you can put the link to the Eventbrite in the group, I put it in our group, please.
Yeah, and we get it back. Well, people can Google Eventbrite, right?
Yeah.
Just put it up on Eventbrite. What's the name? What do they look for if they were to Google it, sis?
I can't believe it. Wait, let me just delete some of these things out my phone, because then it will come through. Then you can put it up. I don't know what's going on here. My phone's just chock-a-block. Does it come through now? I'm gonna just. Have I got your email, Afua?
Yeah, just send it there, sis. I'll send it to you now if you haven't, just to remind you that you have that.
And where will I see it? Sorry, on the WhatsApp. If it comes through, it's not going to come through, is it? Oh, yes, it has.
Yeah, it has. There you go.
So how comes that comes through? So,
the easiest way to do it.
Let me just see if this goes through now.
Petite DJ made a good
point. It's come through now. It's come through, I thought. I just deleted
right. Oh, there you go. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, so that Eventbrite, it's to my event at Monday on Zoom at 7 o'clock. Where we'll be going through the 3 steps of overcoming your fear of speaking out. And I just want to form a community, supportive group of people that are ready to speak out. And hopefully we all can go in our own individual ways of spreading the word and speaking out, creating sort of a web across the UK, you know, of people that are brave and bold and want to share their stories, whether it's through podcasts, books, you know. I'm starting some healing journey, but you'll have to be on the Zoom for me to tell you about that. It's something I'm very excited about. It's sort of holistic, and I want to bring a different twist to it, but I don't want to say much about it just now.
Let them wait for Zoom.
Yeah. So, that's what I'd like to do. So it's just building a community of like-minded men and women, you know, because I'm not, you know, the group I'm in doing all this training for what I'm delivering on Monday, it's a women's group and it's all women. But I'm very aware men, you know, we need our men to be speaking out as well, because they're going through it, and, you know, it's not a man or woman thing, or women's just women. So mine is welcome to men as well. You know, I've had lots of messages this morning. I'm going to put them together and show on the Zoom as well, the amount of people that are coming forward and speaking online. You know, it's for me, it's just great to see. And I really think there is something turning, you know.
There's definitely a yoke that's been broken, sis. Definitely.
Say that again. Yeah.
I said definitely a yoke has been broken, you know.
Yeah.
Broken a yoke.
It's revelation time, isn't it? It's, you know, what's in the dark will come out in the light. And, 100%. You know, you might have got away with abusing the grandmother, the mother, but you're not getting away with doing it to the daughter. We've got a different cattle of people coming up now. I'm not my mother, I'm not my grandmother, and we're going to just come out bold and just say it as it is. And we need to protect the young children that are going through it. Children suffer the most, you know, and because they can't protect themselves. You know, I wish there was a body for me when I was 9, 10 years old, or if I could look up to someone's talking, it might have given me more confidence to speak out at that time. And I just want to say to parents, you know, really look at your children when they are, you know, misbehaving. You know, you think they're just misbehaving, like really look into and have a chat with them and see if there's anything bothering them. Because you might be sending your kid to school, to gymnastics, to church, to here, all these places where you think your child is safe, but them places there are the worst. You know what I'm saying? If you look on the sex offenders register, you know, it's people, police, vicars, teachers, sports teachers. It's people all in trusted positions So, you know, just know that it's like it's the closest people to you. So just watch your children, you know.
Absolutely, sis. Absolutely. I can't emphasize it enough, to be fair.
Mm.
Hold on 1 second, I've done the wrong thing here. We can't emphasize it enough. We keep saying it on this channel, and it's those things, you know, what are the kind of jobs that paedophiles get? They get jobs working with children in positions of trust, you know?
Mm.
1 second, sis. I'm just trying to get your link up. Here it is.
And it has no colour as well, because some people think whatever is every culture, every colour it happens, it is absolutely rife. When I was doing my research and I said it's 1 in 3 in 2013, I think in 2017, I read it was 1 in 2.
That's right.
So you don't have to look far. It's like it's 1 in 1. It's like, who hasn't been abused?
Like every other person, has experienced something.
Yeah.
Usually within the family home.
Yes, definitely. When I reported it the last time in 2012, I went to an organisation. It was called 1 in 4, you know, and then 2013, it's 1 in 3, you know. So it's like, you know, it's the figures are telling, and I don't think they're scratching the surface, because we know the majority of people are not going to talk, you know. So
that's why. Sorry, sis. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the majority of people are not going to talk. A lady contacted me today, and she told me it happened to her when she was 14, and she will never tell her parents, never. She'll just go to her grave with it. And that's one thing. That's my little mantra. Don't go to your grave with it. I don't want to go to my grave with this, and I'm not waiting for my abuser to die before I speak my truth. You know, that's just how I felt. Some people can live their lives and not talk about it, because I know people, and I just don't know how they could just, what happened to them, how they could just leave it and let it pass by. I just can't do that. I don't know what's in me. I just can't. It's been eating away at me. You know, that's why I think the Most High has given me a beating to talk and to do this work, what He's asked me to do. And, you know, yeah, so I'm just pushing the boat out. I like to stay in the background. Like with Britain's Got Reggae, I sort of hide in the background, and, you know, I find it very difficult to be pushing myself forward, but I'm really pushing myself, because I feel it's something that I've got to do. So yeah.
It's your time to shine, my sister.
It's not about me shining, it's about doing the work. And
no, it's your time.
Others to shine.
Let me qualify this. It is your time to shine. You've never spoken your truth publicly like this. You've never done that. And because you went from victim to survivor to thriver, you now want to send that truth out, and that's what you do. That's fantastic. That is shining. You're shining in your own truth. That's what I mean. It's not glory or clout. It's shining in your truth, my sister. That is true healing. When you can shine in your truth, when you can stay here with the camera on and speak quite matter-of-factly about your abuse, that's when you're shining, you know? So like, click up for the sister, man. Blessed. I've got the image here now. Got your event up, and I want everybody to attend. I'm going to be there.
Thank you.
I want everyone to attend. From silence to strength. I love that line, sis. 3 steps to overcoming your fear of speaking out. Fantastic. And I'm going to put the link in the chat as well for anyone. Roll back the live if you missed that. And if you missed the link, roll back the live again and copy and paste it, all right? Hopefully I'll be able to put it out here. Oh, come on. What's going on? Oh, no.
Yeah. Honestly, that's so sad. Honestly, I just read that story about the lady from 4 to 10 years old. It's you know, and for people young like that, they don't even know nothing's wrong. They think it's just normal. That's how life is, you know. I know people from 1920, they're just realizing something's wrong, you know.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, it's imperative. It's imperative that you shine in your truth, you know, that we shine in our truth. Imperative. And there's many that will try to stop it because nobody wants the truth out. And that isn't always the perpetrator, your family, whatever it is. There's a link, guys. I'll put it up as well. Yeah. So copy and paste that out of the, I should be able to copy and paste that now, guys, out of the chat. If you don't know how to do that, I'll leave it up long enough that you can go through one by one and put it into your browser, and then that will take you to it.
I think they should be able to click on that, and it will just take them to it.
Should be able to. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully. Is it blue?
Or cut and paste it. Yeah, cut and paste it.
It looks different in my chat. Yeah, we'll cut and paste it. All right, so sis, I'll leave that up for a little bit. I'm going to put out the public link in a minute. I'm not staying too long tonight, guys. There's no 4.5 hour live tonight because I have a very early start tomorrow morning. Very, very early start. And I need to be as fresh as I possibly can be, you know. But yeah, we need to pop the balloon for them people there.
Yeah, and we need
it's a bit of a private joke, but so if anyone's watched that, put up a one. It's hilarious.
We need to as well talk about the event. His time is up this year.
Oh yes. Thank you for reminding me. You know,
promote the event. Yeah.
Oh my God. You know what? I was going to hold off because I haven't made the decision yet, guys. I'm going to put it out to the His Time Is Up community. So there has been a bit of a booby about the event this year. When I was texting Blue so that she could get the flyers done, I was giving her the information what to put on the flyer. And I believe I called out to baby Afua. Oh, what date is the 18th of October? Because remember, her birthday's a week before. So I was trying to line it up that it doesn't clash with her birthday arrangements, right? So I've called it out to her and she said the 18th was a Saturday. So I took it as word. Didn't bother to check. What's that thing? Well, it was not until Big James security called me a couple of days ago and said, it's a bit unusual for you to have the march on a Friday. And I said, it's not on a Friday, it's on a Saturday. He went, no, the 18th is a Friday. I went, no, it ain't. I was driving and my heart started beating because we've just printed like thousands of flyers, right? And then I flipped up the phone. The 18th is a Friday for true. I can't believe it. And I've put it out there as the 18th. Are we going to have the march on a Friday, guys? Or somehow do I go and re-promote it for the 19th? What do you think is better? Oh, honestly, my heart nearly fell out of my chest. I thought, oh my God, Friday ain't ideal, but can people take annual leave? They usually do if it's I don't know, Burner Boys in town or something, right? They go and get their nails done and take time out. Yeah? So let me know. Put up a one if you think I should keep it. Because it's relatively early, but not really. To be able, in fact, if it's going to be changed, it needs to be changed this weekend. Promote the 19th. But I've given out flyers for the 18th. A lot of them in Birmingham. I haven't given out any in London yet or anywhere else. In Birmingham, there's a lot of flyers that have gone out for the 18th, and not everyone is going to watch this or even see the change. That's what I'm thinking about. So are we doing Friday? Or put up a one if you think we should stick to it, or put up a two if you think we should try to change it at this stage. And I don't know if we're going to get more flyers. Maybe we'll have to just do another run, which is going to be a total waste of money and paper and bad for the planet. Blessed love, honesty. I know you're from Birmingham, but we gave out a lot of flyers to people that didn't even know who we are at the time. And I'm thinking about them as well. Change the event. People are saying one if you think it should remain on the 18th for the Friday. Two, if you think that we should have a stab at changing the date. Maybe just on social media and louder flyers, which isn't great. And I've put some in shops, actually.
Have a 2-day event.
Have a 2-day event. So I think they can manage
Saturday.
I'm going to have to tally them up when I watch back the live, actually, and see what's every. I want everyone to participate on the live. Those people that are in the crowds, let them stay. Or in the bushes, I should say. But yeah, put up a one. We're not hearing from a lot of people here. Enough of them love hide out in the bushes on Friday night time, you know, sis. It's kind of equal at the moment. People are saying Saturday, I think, more. I want to see more. I'm going to leave that to run for about a minute. It's kind of equal. Friday is looking better for people. I don't know. Keep going, guys. Keep going. I want to see it. I want to really take a proper vote on this. before I make up my mind. I'm not saying the vote will make up my mind, but it could help me. Because it's two sides to it. Yeah, change it. But from a kind of a promotional perspective, it's not a good idea, is it? That's the problem. Right. Thank you, Heaven. That's kind of where my spirit is at. My head is more practical and saying, yeah, you need to change it. But my spirit is saying what Heaven's saying. Just pretend it's stay off for F's sake. Yeah, for once. You know what? Maybe that's going to be it. We have it on the Friday, and who come. That's the spirit. Maybe the spirit made it that way, you know? I don't know. I'm in two heads about it. I'm going to make a decision, though. I'm going to make a decision. All right. So I'm going to put out the link for public to anyone that wants to jump on and chat to sister. Maybe we'll have a little quick discussion. But I do want to finish at the top of the hour. That's what I want to do tonight, guys.
It's kind of disappointing that no one else has come forward.
It is, but that may be because the word hasn't come out as such yet.
Yeah, because it's very quick, isn't it? The same week that's promoted.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem like he was a man that was out there that everybody's going to know. Do you know what I mean? You know him if you know him. And you always find that those ones are slower. You'll be surprised, sis. I get things where we've put it up and then a year later someone says, oh my God, my friend sent it to me and I saw it. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? And I have to go back down the line. Like, do you know what I mean? So it can happen anytime. He's there now. So there's the link, guys. Where's it gone? There it is. There's the link. Jump on if you want to chat to sister. Take her, give your perspective. You know how it goes. His time is up, family. I'm not even going to get into it. I did see, in fact, you know what? This is your time, sis. Let me chat what I'm going to chat at the end once you jump off. Jump on, people. See if we get any takers, sis. Yeah, see if we get any takers. Dutty man, Vernon, him, alter order. Nasty.
I don't think people realise the impact as a young child. It just like sort of breaks your world. Like, you know, you're a child and you're carefree, and then something like that happens to you. It's like, it just breaks your world. Like, it's, you know, it's just hard to explain. It just, you know, like, you know, children, you should be carefree and not have things like that to worry about. So when something like that happens to you, it just changes your whole outlook on life and how you thought life was. It makes you realise life isn't what you think it is, you know. Big grown men, what do they want with little kids, you know?
Sorry, it's the way that children process things. I was kind of reflecting on something recently about my own abuse and my own abuser. And I was sharing with somebody about how we kind of normalize that, because once I disclosed at the age of about 10, it went on from when I was very, very small. So I'm not even sure how long or how many episodes. I was that small, you know, but when I became cognizant of it, I did disclose at 10. Well, I was called a lie. Everybody knows my story, right? So because I disclosed, and you know, Jamaican people already, like, everything's going to get raised in the house because my mum just went berserk. He's like, Liad, what you said of her? So your dad's finding out. And I remember my dad saying, it's all right. She got you fears. But that was my dad's way of saying, I believe you. I just need to hear more because of who that person was. Do you know what I mean? If you don't know my story, go back and check it out. But after that, because my brothers and sisters had heard what had gone on and whatever, we had a joke, because my abuser had this line where before he took out whatever he took out, to orally penetrate me, he would say, you want to see something big? That was his line. You want to see something big? And then he'd get it out. So this is what I had told my mother, and it had become this thing in the house. So we used to run around, and like my brothers or like my sister would go, you want to see something big? And then we'd go, yeah, and we'd laugh about it. And I would take part in that. Sometimes I'd say it. Do you see the cycle? Do you know what I mean? The psychological damage. It's not until I got older, it started to dawn on me that is actually nasty and ridiculous. And, you know, I can see how it, like yourself, you know, I didn't go into care, but I certainly started giving my mum and dad a load of trouble, and I couldn't have connected it. They didn't connect it. Then he's just get up and just start get trouble. You know what I mean? Yeah, bunking school, wanting to smoke weed, just not wanting to do what you're supposed to do. Thankfully, I passed all my exams and turned it around before I was even 18. But the point is, it weighs on a child. You know, and it's very important what you said, sis, about looking for those behavioral signs. We know now, we're educated about these things, the signs of abuse. So your child suddenly goes into their shell, or they start acting out from nowhere. We're going to do that exploration, you know. But there's so many out there still that won't. You know, you just got to look on TikTok to the videos of young girls crying into the camera. And I saw one recently, and she's telling the mum, she's disclosing, she's in her 20s or something, and is talking about the boyfriend, and the mum is cussing her out. And it's a relatively young woman, the mother, you know, maybe in her 40s or something. So the mindset and the damage is still very much there. Very much.
I can remember thinking when I was young, I used to think only white people do this. I can remember actually thinking that.
Yep.
And that's what you see on TV. That's what people do. You know, it's white people that do that. That's what I thought. I remember thinking that.
That was it still is quite a widely held belief in the black community that only white people do that. I
don't know where I got it from, but I can just remember thinking that, you know, this is what you see on TV. White people do that. We don't do them things.
Yeah.
Little did we know.
Definitely.
It's rife in our communities, rife.
It is, my sister. Doesn't look like we're going to get anybody jumping on tonight, so that's okay. Darian Prophecy says, sounds like a guy.
Yeah, he's an artist. I know Darian.
Brother, you know Darian. Blessed love, Darian. Darian Prophecy, love it. That is despicable, and it's sad that people do this to children. It is indeed.
Thank you, Darian. Big up to yourself.
Yep.
This thing is so rife, mate, you know. And, you know, it's impacted me. So I've got no children, you know, I've remained single most of my life. So all these there's lots of impacts it has on you, you know.
Knock-on effect, yeah. Knock-on effect, absolutely,
definitely.
Sis. Is there any advice, sis, that you would give? You know, be bold, speak out, show your face, you know, all of that.
Yeah,
in terms of how do I start that? How do I start that? As a person that's still in the shadows, still living with the shame.
No, but you've got to decide from what are you ashamed of? You know, write down, what is it are you ashamed of? What are you afraid of? You know, face the things that you think, you know, what are in the way? What are the obstacles of you speaking out? You know, for me,
I was going to say, we know here, and you and I have discussed this as well. One of the biggest obstacles, I think, first of all, you've got to get through the layer of the self-shame. You know, the fact that most victims, especially children, will blame themselves. You've got to get over that layer. And then once you get over that layer, you've got to break through the shame of the family as African and Caribbean people, or African Caribbean people. You've got to break through the shame of the family. And then you have to face the community and the vitriol, the judgment, you know, the pointing, the whispers.
Yeah.
All of that. So that is mammoth. I know that I've spoken to sisters that are terrified. They'll tell me their story. They'll tell you their story. But to come and actually face their community, very scary. And that's the bit I think we need to work on, you know?
I can remember I went to a party and some woman says to me, you should have been ashamed what you put your mum through and blah, 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 running away, whatever. I had to put her in her place. What do you know about my life? You know what I'm saying? You know, where are you getting right? It's like old news. You know, it's quite recent. You know what I'm saying? What do you know about my life? You know, I just had to put, you know, before you mind your own business, you know what I mean? Because clearly you know nothing of my life. So it's the judgment and how people speak on this little girl about her behaviors. Yes, I was running away, but I wasn't on the street sleeping around. You know what I'm saying? I was at my brother and sister's house. You know, that was my safe house. You know, I just didn't want to be alone in the house with a paedophile. Why am I going to stay in the house when I know what he's going to try to do for me? So I just get off.
And that's what it was, you know. But, you know, Jamaican people, in my deck, man. You're a little girl running up and down. You're forced.
Blame you, yeah.
Their biggest, I think, fear in those days is that you were going to bring in a teenage belly on them. You know, they just didn't want that. That was shame, and it was also responsibility, extra mouths to feed. They were terrified of that. And, you know, if you're a little girl, it was for them. I think some of it was, it isn't necessarily you. We know that you could get up the duff regardless. Do you know what I mean? Whether you were looking it or not. So I think they were very aware of the dangers, the rapes and the whatever. Do you know what I mean? They just did not give it that name. Many of them. That's why they were so paranoid. Like, I remember like starting my period and that was it. No more playing out with my brothers. That was it. My dad just locked me off. So yeah, there was an extreme with our parents, sis. There really, really was. But sis, we're going to wrap up now. What kind of final message do you want to give to everyone?
Yeah, you know, I just want to know, those people that find it hard to speak, you know, you're definitely not alone. You know, there is, you know, there's so many of us out here, and I just love for you all to find the confidence. You know, if it's bothering you like it bothered me so much. I have to do something. It just wouldn't let off. You know, I've just got this urge to speak, like, and it wasn't going away for years. You know, and the other day after watching the live last week, I just rang Afua and said, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm
And
ready.
what did I do? I screamed with pleasure.
Yeah.
Telling me
Because I thought this is never going
years.
to happen, because I've been talking about it for the longest time.
Absolutely.
But then I just, you know, nothing before the time. I just thought, I'm now ready. And it just feels, I think I'm going to get my closure now, you know, after speaking about it in this way. And I really think, like, you know, I know a lady, she's come to me and she's troubled like me and she wants to talk, you know. So I'm going to speak to her. I don't know if she's watching tonight, but I'm going to speak to her. I know she's been commenting on the post, but I know she did come to me, ring me up one day, and she expressed her feeling, you know. And, you know, you Leicester people, you know, there's loads of people down there that are the wrong ones. You know, speak your truth and, you know, don't be afraid. You know, I think, you know, when the silencers, they feel empowered. But, you know, if more of us started speaking up and speaking like this, these abusers are going to be thinking twice. You know what I'm saying? Now, at the time of no one really speaking up, they've just got free reign to do what they're doing, banking and knowing that no one's going to talk. So they can just do as they please. If they see loads of people start talking and that, they're going to have second thoughts. You know what I'm saying? We need to take back your power. That's what I've done, taking back my power. Was I scared? Yes, I was scared. But I pushed through that. I have to face my fears. You know, we're not getting younger. And, you know, me speaking out like this and lots of people hearing it, he's lost his power now. You know what I'm saying? He is going to be feeling embarrassed when he goes to the shop, when he's got to face his family. And that's another thing. I want to apologise to the family, all the decent people in his family. You know, maybe he's got children and whatever. I know it's not easy to hear this, but it is the truth. You know, so I apologise if I've hurt you or made you feel any particular way because of what I said. But, you know, I just need to get it off my chest. It's my story. It's my life. But, like, I do sympathise with the family, to bringing shame on the family. And, you know, Vernon, you didn't come on today to deny it or anything, because you really couldn't face me, and you know what you are, you know what you've done. So yeah, his family, you know, because there's decent. I know one of his sisters, she's lovely, she's friends with my mum still, you know. And yeah, you know, I just don't want to bring no shame on you, but, you know, yeah, I just had to do what I had to do. Yeah.
Feel the fear and do it anyway, sister.
Yeah, push through the fear. You know, so please join me on Monday at 9 o'clock.
Yep.
And we can support each other. Thank you. Support each other through this, you know, to go further and make a bigger movement. We need to make more noise. Afua's event on in October, we need more people there. There's so very few people that turn up. We need more men there, more men to come and support us.
Yep.
You know, it's really important that men come and support this thing. You know, we know this happens. We don't have to look far. You speaking to paedophiles every day and you don't know it, you know.
100.
Yeah.
Blessed love, my sister. As always, my sis.
Thank you. And thank you, Afua, for your wonderful platform, for the opportunity, what you're doing. I know a lot of people hate what you're doing. I absolutely love what you're doing because I know how important it is and that it's needed. You know, if it wasn't for your platform today, I probably wouldn't have been here doing this today. You know, having your platform there is really, really encouraging. And I think it's making a lot of man shake right now. So all you paedophiles, your time's coming next, mate. Someone's going to speak up about you. So stop
One
what you're
day.
doing. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Stop what you're doing. There's people talking now. So make them shiver. Make them scared. You know what I'm saying? That their name's going to be called next.
100%.
You know, they don't get to grow old gracefully. You know? So yeah.
Bless up. Sister Cyrelene B, put up a big, his time is up. Love hearts for the sister.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you, thank
listening.
you. Goes without question, my sister. Goes without question. Blessed love, sis. We'll talk.
Thank you.
All right, my
Speak
darling.
soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I don't know how to leave.
It's all right, I got you. Oh, I love that sister there. She's the most genuine, gentle spirit. She's fantastic. I love that sister there, honestly. And she's been a supporter of the His Time Is Up campaign from day one. When I was still in Tanzania, sister called me when we were organizing the march, and she offered to have the flyers printed in England. I picked them up when I landed, and sister's been supporting and in the background from day dot. So nobody no chat to me about my sister there. She's fantastic. I'm so glad that she's, from when we've been talking about this, from when she first told me her story, I think I was still in Tanzania, I'm sure I was. Yeah, I was. To now, and the fact that she's chosen now to come and finally do that and release herself from that final part, you know, like she said, closure. I am so very, very happy for my sister, honestly. Make sure everybody piles in on Monday. I'm definitely going to be piling in as well. And we need to give that sister as much support as possible. You know, she's just beautiful. She's just beautiful. I've lent my support to sisters before, and we've seen that they stab you in the back. They jump on for their own selfish gains and what have you. But that is not who we're dealing with here. Sister is absolutely 100. Yeah? Sister Heaven, I see you there. I didn't see you last week, sis. Where you been? But yes, my people, that's going to wrap up for tonight. As I say, I've got a very, very, very early start tomorrow. Yeah. And I shall see you guys again next week. Oh, before I go, yes, moderators, I did spot the troll in the chat. It was Claire Kennedy. Not seen them for a while. Go wash your dirty drawers, Claire Kennedy. Whatever shape that takes. And we all know who that is, don't we? But we will get to that when time comes, people. Don't think there's been an end to any of that, but we will get to it when time comes. Trust me. And next week, we will be dealing with yet another story. It's unfortunate that there are so many, and it's unfortunate that for 4 years we can do this week on week with very little break. That is unfortunate. But as we all know, and as sisters highlighted, it is absolutely needed. Blessed love, people. Make sure that whatever you're doing this weekend and whoever you're doing it with, that you have the best time of your life, because I certainly know that I will. Blessed love, my people. Blessed love. Blessed love.